And joining us this week is Plattsburgh Town Supervisor Michael Cashman. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Big celebration last week at the airport. United has started offering daily flights to Washington. The first time the airport has had a major commercial carrier offering jet service, so that's significant for the town.
It is significant for the town and the greater Plattsburgh region. The offering of the code share, which really allows people to book straight through on United Express, was the ultimate benefit of bringing that airline carrier to the region.
What's it mean for Plattsburgh to have this now?
I think there's approximately 70 locations within the United States that have points of connection through Dulles, and then there's about 40 international flights through Dulles. So that's pretty powerful by itself. But like so many things that occur in our region, is it becomes an incubator for the next thing, the next business, for people to be looking at what's going in Plattsburgh. And that's a pretty powerful thing. I think that what people will find is it will ease up their access to get elsewhere, but we're also going to empower the airport to cultivate some new relationships, to maybe bring in some of those big airlines that people have been waiting for a bit.
And the expansion is still continuing at the airport. When the International Arrival Center is completed and U.S. Customs is actually on location at the airport, then the hope is it may open up Plattsburgh to international flights, the Caribbean, Mexico, maybe even Europe.
Yeah, correct. If you look north up in Montreal, they're basically maxed out as far as their scheduled airline time. So the opportunities to fly directly to Europe, I really do believe, are there. It will take some time. I applaud my colleagues in the County Ledge, both past and present, for making that critical investment in the airport. But I also thank folks like Gary Douglas and his team that have constantly championed this as a project for our region. We're really starting to see those investments come to fruition.
And other expansion going on the air cargo side.
Yes.
The governor's $38 million grant, creating an air cargo park, customs for flights coming in there. What's the hope that will do for business?
It's going to cultivate future opportunities between the nose dock ports to TDC, which is supporting one of the brand new buildings that's going on. We already have seen Vaporstone Rail sign a lease agreement, and they're going to increase, I think, about 50 jobs. So there's already a forward motion in the significant regional growth because of the investments that Governor Cuomo is making. Speaking
of things taking off, Norsk this summer at the Farnborough Air Show in London. Gary Douglas was over there, and the announcement made that they're expanding the number of manufacturers that are going to start using parts manufactured by Norsk here in Plattsburgh.
One could say Plattsburgh's taking to the air in a bunch of different ways, obviously with United Express, but also Norsk Titanium having some of their parts that are going to be in the Dreamliner series for Boeing. But then locally here, they continue to increase their workforce. At the old Clinton County Airport, they've broken ground. The building is starting to go up, very exciting. Norsk is definitely a player locally, but it's helping to bring in that international interest within our region. In fact, Plattsburgh, the town of Plattsburgh, is being scouted by 5 national businesses at the moment. Scouting means that they're coming, they're kicking the tires, they're turning over rocks, they're looking at things. Doesn't mean they necessarily will come, but they're interested in why are people investing in the region. They've already recognized it as a great place to live, work, and play. Now they want to see what they can do to invest and be part of the larger picture.
We know often when they're doing that in that phase, they swear you to secrecy, confidentiality, but is there anything you can share with us as far as what type of companies these are?
It really is a range from retail to manufacturing and everything in between.
Route 3, the Chick-fil-A restaurant, looks like that ready to open by October?
We're hoping so. The other thing that the town of Plattsburgh is doing is we're involved in a smart growth plan. And what smart growth does is you look at kind of the core uptown segment of your community and then look at the spokes off of that. We really want to make sure that we're looking at growth as a manageable opportunity, but also to encourage walkability, bikeability as a place that people enjoy. From exit 37 through Consumer Square and up Smithville Boulevard, it's as busy as Wolf Road down in Albany. And most people don't understand that. They kind of see Plattsburgh sometimes as this sleepy, slumbery little community. We have a lot going on in our region.
Those 5 companies looking at Plattsburgh, would they all be concentrating on that area?
I think 2 or 3 of them are, and the other ones are looking at more land.
Other companies that make up the transportation cluster, Nova Bus and Bombardier, probably have been watching the the trade tensions and trade war this summer with Canada.
Yes.
Have they seen any impact?
Many of the businesses, Canadian businesses and businesses from other countries, because we have some of those in the region as well, have been sitting a little bit on pins and needles to find out what's going to go on. The political climate is very different than it has ever been before. All of us in our current positions, I think, remain cautiously optimistic that the folks that are championing our relationship with our neighbors to the north can get something that really supplants the relationship in a positive way, both for Americans as well as Canadians. I can tell you that I was just out shopping over the weekend, and it hasn't stopped the Canadian shopper from coming down to Plattsburgh, eating, shopping, enjoying the beach and other things in the area. Now we just need to make sure that we protect the business relationship. Could it have a significant impact? Absolutely. But I'm pretty optimistic that we'll see something positive.
There's been a lot of finger pointing going on, and at times some trash talking this summer between you and Mayor Reed. Much of it over annexation. The mayor is proposing that the city buy some plots of land from the town so they can use it for development and possibly housing. You weren't thrilled with that idea early on, but is it something that you see the town and the city now working on and at least exploring?
Sure. So I think I want to address this in two ways. First and foremost, I wasn't thrilled about the way that it was communicated. Mayor Reed and I have recently reinvested in trying to reestablish our relationship, which I'm very appreciative of. The general position is the town of Plattsburgh will take a comprehensive review of the proposal. We've not received any formal documents or proposal yet, so I can't say whether or not I or the town supports it. I personally work through a model of communication, collaboration, and compromise. Right now, the mayor and I are working on the first stage, and that's the communication. I'm confident that we can get to the collaboration. I don't know what the compromise will look like, but let's focus on the first thing first.
Has it strained relations to the point where really the city and town aren't doing much or working together very well right now?
No, I don't think so. When there's a bump in the road, I know there's a lot of high-focused attention to that. But there's some opportunities to collaborate, but the first part of it comes through good communication.
And you mentioned the bumps in the road. Of course, earlier in the year, the bump in the road was the former Falcon Seaboard plant and the disagreement over some of the revenue from that going to the municipalities and also the school district. Both sides lawyered up on that. Is that progressing through the courts now, or is that something that you're hopeful could be part of this, where if you're talking on other matters that you might be able to shoot things over there and move forward?
Well, I think it's important, just to talk about some facts, though, is it was really an unfortunate event. I mean that sincerely. Mayor Reed was caught on a hot tape. I think he was talking with a colleague in a manner of which he wouldn't do if it was in a public setting. And I stood up and said, let's get together, shoulder to shoulder, let's review some documents. The city is the one that decided to go down this road, unfortunately, of as you put it, lawyered up. We had to respond to protect our taxpayers. Now, that's where we are. Now, we could do the Punch and Judy show back and forth, or we could find an opportunity to try to carve a path forward.
Anything scheduled as far as talks?
Not as of yet. We continue to look for opportunities to develop the relationship. The mayor and I have had we've had one face-to-face conversation and one or two email exchange, but I would imagine over the next couple of months, I know the town's really busy because we're about to go into budget season, and that's always, a focus of us as well as any municipal leaders, making sure that you're staying under the tax cap and doing your due diligence to protect your taxpayers.
But it is a priority. You want to
Absolutely. I'd rather see it sooner rather than later.